Cybersecurity and data privacy have been big issues in financial services recently. Here to talk about it with us is MBA's Justin Wiseman. Justin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what's the legal and regulatory compliance landscape as it relates to these?
So I think we view these things under the broad framework of data protection, which is both privacy and security. And we've seen the states getting increasingly interested in both, so kind of under the entire data protection landscape. If we were to look at the trend markers as we see them at the states, I think it'd first be the New York Department of Financial Services rule on cybersecurity, and then obviously on privacy. The California Consumer Privacy Act has sort of rewritten the rules about how certain businesses and sectors need to think about consumer privacy as it relates to folks in California.
How does MBA then approach its advocacy on these issues?
Well, we think that these issues are national issues, right? The internet is available everywhere. Data security, data privacy flows freely across state borders. So we've put together what we call our data protection principles. And MBA's data protection principles outline high-level guidelines that we think people should consider when they think about how to best regulate and consider data privacy issues.
What are the next policy challenges that are going to be coming up?
So I think, as I mentioned earlier, the states are likely to be the scene of the most activity here. Obviously, this is a federal issue, but we're in an election year, and I think the idea that there'd be a comprehensive federal data privacy bill seems a little far off, or at least not this year. State legislatures are a different matter. We are seeing a lot of activity in the states, particularly as they want to copy the California Consumer Privacy Act. And to that end, we've proposed an entity-level Gramm-Leach-Bliley exemption. Now, Gramm-Leach-Bliley is the law that's governed financial services for a long time, and I think it's important to remember that privacy has been governed in our space by Gramm-Leach-Bliley on a national level for decades. Because of this, we believe that any state privacy law should make allowances for that and rely on the Gramm-Leach-Bliley framework, which has successfully protected consumer privacy in financial services.
Yeah, data privacy and cybersecurity have been in the headlines, are going to remain in the headlines, are big issues. We really appreciate you coming by and talking about them with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.